Hey.
Hi, Amy Lee. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We're on the pod, but before we started the pod, we wanted to know, can we talk about your kids have COVID or no?
Yeah, just Bo does.
Just Bo
Jack
does.
has an ear infection, sinus infection, but and I'm masked in my house because I have to go back to work.
Oh,
and
shit.
I'm no nanny, obviously. You don't want to get her sick. So I have to quarantine for 10 days with the two of them. Even I guess because they're unvaccinated, we all have to quarantine for 10 days.
Oh, man, that sounds super fun, dude.
That's crazy. Would you rather fight a duck-sized horse or a 10?
I have PTSD from March 2020, but now on top of it, I have to keep my kids separate because we're trying not to get Jack to have COVID. So trying to feed them separately and keep them away from each other, not have them touch each other.
Why don't you?
Do you know how out of breath I am?
Yeah, why don't you use the cages? I got them for Christmas.
I think I lost them in the move.
Oh, man.
I need new ones.
All right, well, we love you. If you need anything, let us know. Uncle Cassim will be right on the plane.
I'll be there in a jiff.
All right, love you.
Love you.
Bye.
I'll be there in a jiff.
All right, well, that was an exclusive. Bo Dykstra, COVID, yes. Jack Dykstra, COVID, no. COVID, no. Yeah, so guys, that's the beginning of the pod. All that COVID talk last week gave Bo COVID.
Yeah, real heavy episode. Now we're coming out of it. Just your two boys this week. Welcome to Pajama Pants, the #1 non-Sopranos podcast. Me, your main host, Cassim Garaiba, and my little sidekick here, Robert Eiler.
Yeah, we gotta talk about what you did last week in the car. So
what I did in the car.
Yeah, well, in the car and then here. So me and Cassim were in the car driving to the pod. He picks me up. Wonderful. I hadn't seen him in a long time. We're hanging out. And we're in the car and Bush came on. It was Glycerine probably or something else. And we were singing Glycerine in the car, but not making any sense.
What's that song? Calm Down?
Come back down.
Yeah, Glycerine's is it a different song, I think?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But I just didn't remember which one. So
you gotta be accurate.
So that's on, and I'm going through DMs on the phone. So I go to Cass. I go, "Oh, we should record this and put it on Instagram." And he looked at me like I was insane.
Yeah, it was like this.
Yeah, you were like, "What?" You were like, "I would never do. You're crazy or whatever." And then he starts the pod by singing, "My baby's back."
My baby's back and he's home from New York. Hey now, Robbie's back.
So that's okay, but Bush is not okay?
Nope.
You made it seem like that's so not cool to sing Bush on Instagram.
Yeah.
But then you're singing "My Baby's Back" when we start the pod.
Yeah, it's
way
better.
I love you because sometimes I just can't figure you out, and that's one I
We're
can't.
both complicated guys. Do you know what I mean? We've got layers to us. There's all kinds of things. We have a lot of things that a lot of people would look at me like, those guys shouldn't be friends. I got a bunch of emails today. So Jamie's out.
You know what we should have done? We should have asked people, we should have told people on Instagram, hey, it's Rob and Cass in this one. Do you have any questions for just Rob and Cass?
I can do that now.
Should we do that?
I can do that now.
Should we put it out in a video and throw it on the story? And we could.
Dude, what happened to the crypto
You love
market?
Meta. Oh, don't talk to me about
I got to talk to you about crypto.
Listen.
I picked the worst time to buy in.
Or the best. Because you're still buying.
Well, what do they call that? DCA?
Buy the dip, dollar cost average. What do you want to know? DCA is dollar cost average, babe.
Am I an idiot for pumping in to crypto 20 grand 2 weeks ago, right before everything took a giant shit?
No, not if you believe in the technology. This is just a
I don't.
Well, then yes,
care.
you are. If there's a technology
I don't know anything about it.
If there's a technology you don't believe in, you're pumping 20
I'm going to be
into
100% honest. I just put money in because you and people that I know go, buy it, Cass. Doesn't that mean I trust your
No, I
your
fucking
word?
told you that 2 years ago and you didn't listen to me. So don't act like you did it because of me now, all of a sudden. I was telling you
It is
years
because
ago.
of you.
You're full of shit.
I do it all because of you.
No, a bunch of geeks at G4 were like, hey, you should do this. And you're like, man, these kids know.
You
like,
better watch who you're calling a geek or you're gonna get you're gonna get your ass handed to you in
Listen,
Super
you're the
Smash
toughest guy at
Brothers.
G4, so
That's not true, dude.
I don't know. No, the truth is I've met your friends at G4 and they're really nice and
You're a bitch.
sweet.
That's what we go.
But
oh.
it's just easy to make fun of people who play video games. Even though I
It's
love
too
video
easy.
games.
And guess what? Everyone plays video games. now.
Right. And that's, that's all part of the, I'm inclusive with
I got a
my,
VR, and guess what we're doing as soon as we get
No,
off this pod?
I don't do VR. It makes me
What'd you
dizzy.
ask me before you came here today? It's like, hey, maybe we can do the pod and let's go see sunset. That's what you said, right?
Oh my God. Anybody who's from the fucking East Coast is going to
This
hate
guy,
you right now.
dude. Yeah.
So I go,
Yeah, let him hate, man.
I go to Casa. I go, Jamie's not going to do the pod, so I could come there. We could finish the pod early. If you want, we could run to the beach, catch sunset, throw a little frisbee around, bang, bang, boom. And he goes, oh, it's a little cold for your boy. It was, I looked on my weather app, it was 75 degrees.
Yeah, that's not
These
what it was here.
Jordanians, like, you
not what
hang
it
out
was
with
here, dude.
Jordanians for so long. And
Go
it
ahead and
just,
slander a whole people.
No. I'm just saying, I spend so much time with multiple Jordanians. Like,
No.
yeah,
Who else?
thousands of Jordanians I'm hanging out with constantly. And it just never gets, you never develop a callus to them getting cold in anything under 70, oh no, apparently 80 degrees. What is your line of demarcation? 85 degrees?
Here's the thing. When you called me, 67 degrees. By the time
that is such a
By the time we
lie.
get to the beach, it's 60, and this is before the sunsets. It's 55 down to 50. What are we
No
doing?
way. 50 degrees at sunset? You're such a liar, dude. You just dropped
More-
20 degrees.
More importantly, we have VR here. Why would
don't
we
do
go out?
that.
Why don't we catch a real sunset when we could catch a fake one
Yeah,
in the metaverse?
you don't know if it's a smart idea to invest in crypto. Meanwhile, you don't even want to go to the beach anymore because you're so involved in the metaverse.
The beach is it's fucking overrated. There's all this shit all these hoops you gotta go through to get there.
Yeah.
You're too sassy today.
I have that in my head and his back. I'm going to be sassy ever since you told me that
You're
it's too cold outside.
You're a little sass.
And I looked and I saw 70 degrees. I said, who am I friends with? I used to fucking run around New York City breaking shit. The windows, the law, all of it. And now
Those
I'm
days
fucking,
are over,
I'm
dude.
hanging out with fucking people in the metaverse and they say, oh, it's 70 degrees out. It's too cold. I can't leave my fucking video game room.
Those days are over.
What am I?
I can leave the video game room.
What's happened to me?
I can leave the video game room. I can go to the living room to play VR.
Oh my God. Pajama Pants hits a new low today. When we asked Gabby to hop on the pod, she can't do it. Jesus Christ.
That's right.
I mean,
that was a slap in the face.
Oof.
Talk about new low, man. My portfolio has never been lower.
What's next? George going to turn us down?
We would never invite George to this.
I know, that's true.
Bryce, on the other hand, we get Bryce on the pod.
Bryce, yeah, I approve of Bryce. Bryce gets the thumbs up. Bryce is a good dude.
Bryce's thumbs, his hands.
See, this is another thing. All my friends from New York City, I don't see them anymore. I hang out with you. You talk about the size of men's hands constantly. Should we do?
It's the biggest.
We were saying we
Two
could.
of mine.
We were saying we have voicemails. Let's try and listen to a voicemail. People send us voicemails, and we never got
Okay.
to listen to them when we got here because Jamie is in Austin, and
Okay.
we are not technologically sound enough to figure out how to get a voicemail to play there,
Okay.
but also here.
Okay. All right. So here's us going through your voicemails, if this works.
We tried to take some voicemails, and I don't know how to put this. How would you put this, Cass? I think the only people who tried to leave voicemails were mentally ill.
Yeah, it's like the people that call in, shouldn't be like speaking. They should be communicating via like a window and like a phone on one end.
Yeah, and there's somebody out there who's like, I left a voicemail, and I thought, listen, we didn't listen to them all. We listened to like 4 in a row, and they were weird and creepy, and some people I think they were trying to give us some like weird message. I don't even know what. It's disturbing and hard to even put into words. Like, we wanted to play one of them, but it was just even too crazy.
Yeah. So we're going to take today's pod as an opportunity to engage with the emails that we haven't caught up with. We have some Instagram questions we're going to get to. You got some Sharpies?
No, I have Sharpies for us when one thing I want to talk about is and some people
get us warmed up.
Some people hate reality shows, and I get that. I get why. I'm actually starting to not be able to watch a lot of the shows I used to watch. I don't really care about like dating shows much anymore, but I'm sure there'll be ones that come around that I like, but I'm just not, that new one that Joe Millionaire came out. I'm like, I can't get it. Like, I'm like, I don't know.
There's a new Joe Millionaire?
Yeah, it's with two guys. One is a millionaire, one is not, and they have to figure out which is which, but they're like falling in love with some poor guy and they don't realize it. But but maybe it's because me and Cassim were just into Station 11, new HBO show that is scripted, and it just fucking blew everything away.
That's right. Rob just finished Station 11. It was my favorite show of the year. I mean, it started last year and it ended this year. I don't know what we categorize it as a 2021 show. It's probably my favorite show of the year.
Yeah, it was. And listen, I think when TV shows have their first season, they have like a leg up. Like we're talking about Succession.
Yeah, it's based on a novel too.
Right.
Yeah.
And Succession, it's like this is the third season, so you know what you're getting. Like you trust it. You're turning it on. Like that first season of Succession blew me away because I had no idea what was coming. Anything. Now you're in season 3, and it's an incredible show, but you know what's coming. Where Station 11, I had no idea what was fucking coming. It blew me away. But my point was, I stopped watching 90 Day Fiance for like 3 seasons, and then this season that's on right now is so fucking good. And I was just watching these people where was they from? And they were in Tasmania. I've never experienced, and I grew up in New York City where people are said to be like rude. They were so rude to the fucking waiters.
No.
I didn't know that this truly happened in the world where like they kind of treated the waiters like servants and like pieces of shit.
What was an example of something they did?
So the guy came over with the coffee. He was like, drop it. Like just told him like, drop it. Like put it on. And the guy's like, yes, sir. Like, is there anything else? Like they're very like the waiters are like how you see in like films when like, from 100 years ago where it's like do that. Like people who work for people, like staff people are like scared of the person. Instead of now where you see in like LA, it's like everybody who works with somebody is like how they should be, like part of their family.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. That's still alive and well in certain parts of the world.
Yeah.
Tasmania.
It was good to see. Yeah,
that's like that's like near Australia.
I think they were in Tasmania.
Oh, they talk like this?
Oh, that's not what I would think.
What was I thinking?
I thought Tasmania was in Africa, but I have no fucking idea. Google.
There's Tanzania.
Right.
There's Tasmania.
This was probably Tanzania then.
Were they black?
They were.
Probably Tanzania.
Yeah.
Probably, right?
Well, I don't know there was a difference between Tasmania and Tanzania. See, this is why we pod.
There's other people that don't know this.
Right.
Let's do them the favor.
Yeah, this is why we pod. It's like, oh, why are you talking about a fucking reality show? It's not about the reality show, pal. It's about Rob doesn't know.
It's about educating yourself.
Yeah.
Tasmania, abbreviated as Tas, is an island state of Australia.
Look at you. This guy's information junkie.
But you think it's
100% Tanzania.
Okay.
100%.
Okay, great. So Tanzania.
Yes, very different. It's a country in East Africa.
That's right.
We're educating you here today on Pajama Pants. Last week we taught you how to cut sandwiches, which people really had a huge reaction to.
This is where they speak Swahili. Oh, yeah, the sandwich thing?
It's a fucking big...
Guys, we went fucking viral. Can I say that? We went viral.
You could say it, but it's not really true.
Come on, dude. If you believe it, it happened.
Is that true?
Last pod, we asked Jamie, or Rob asked Jamie, one of his Sharpies was which way would she cut a sandwich?
We can't depend on the voicemails.
We can't. But we said diagonally triangles.
Of course.
Like a normal
there's not
sane.
even like a, yeah, there's not like, there's nothing unsexier than like a sandwich cut down the middle.
No.
And like, like that's like something people eat on like when they're on like a ferry.
Now, she made a comment during that where she was like, well, there's more bread for her to eat.
Right.
That's all an illusion,
Optical
right?
illusion. That's
because I'm not smart enough to really know, but in my head, it's the same amount of bread.
I could see it. No. I think of course, it's the same amount of bread, but I could see it being more convenient for her mouth to just go like
3 chomps.
Bite, instead of like little bite, big bite, little bite, maybe. Now we're potting.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people, this split the room. This was our the equivalent of do you stand or sit to wipe.
Can we look at some? You want to read some of the comments from that? Because I feel like that could. I'd like
love
to see
to,
what people.
Robert.
Because what Cassim wrote was funny, which was, if you don't cut your sandwich at all, we don't even want you to listen to our pod because you're crazy.
Yeah. This is from, let's see, Allison Rosen, who's a friend of the pod. My dad used to cut sandwiches into thirds, which is so weird.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Is that like cut the two? Yeah, right? Like you cut.
Well, see, now this is the question. Is it a diagonal thirds or is it horizontal or is it vertical?
Right, it can be, okay, horizontal. I could see, I guess she was
Then
thinking,
it's like a
'cause
strip.
I was thinking like triangular. Like I was thinking you cut a triangle here like that, and then these two pieces are. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, wait.
Like picture
somebody
the
says
sandwich
into thirds.
like Mickey Mouse ears. Like you cut that
Yeah.
top off, and then you got a triangle, and then the two ears. That's what came into my head.
Wow. No, that's not a bad thought.
That's even more pointy things to go into our mouths as the sandwich, which is what we like of the triangle.
Exactly. If you were a fan of the triangle, but you wanted to cut into thirds. Also,
How about 3 triangles for you?
her dad must have had little baby lips. You got to cut it into thirds to get the food in there. That's crazy.
But if you're just cutting it like down, like straight down the line 3 times, and you have that like that like no man's land middle of the sandwich,
Yeah.
with no nothing. That's like a floppy.
That's crazy.
What did other people?
Okay, so Jamie says I stand by my decision. That has 79 likes, by the way.
Yeah.
She's getting support. Agreed, except I peel off the crust so I can devour the sandwich and not worry about an accidental crust bite. A lot of people don't like the crust is kind of what we're finding
That,
here.
to me,
Grown adults.
I was just gonna say, to me that seems very childish.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
But sandwiches are fairly childish in themselves, right?
Yeah. Well, no.
On like white bread, just like a regular sandwich, cut. It feels a little like.
Okay, you're going by a standard. You're thinking of like school lunch sandwich.
Yeah. This whole time I'm thinking white
encompasses-
bread. I'm not thinking.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're talking diagonal, or by the way, even if you're cutting like a hero, I like that diagonal cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Because
nice.
then you
get
get a
the
little-
view.
Yeah.
Nice view.
Well, it's got a. It's like, the Capri Sun straw, how it's angled.
Yeah.
Because it gets into the thing better. That's how you like your hoagies cut.
Yeah, and they say you eat with your eyes.
That's what they say.
They say you eat with your eyes. So
Grub with Grainer says cut corner to corner and corner to corner, 4 slices like pizza. Yeah, this person's typing this, so he's like restrained to a bed.
yeah, that sounds like a Lunchable, pal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not good.
Somebody here clarifying, Ray Flanagan says it is the same amount of crust. Also, the crustless portion of the sandwich is more openly available in triangle form. Also, he says, eat the crust. Or don't. It doesn't matter. That's what he said. Guys, it's time to talk about Shopify. If you guys have your own website, you sell your own merch, you guys got to be using Shopify. It gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big businesses. Okay? This is your mom and pop stuff here. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big businesses, so upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere and synchronize online and in-person sales and effortlessly stay informed. Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibility. Reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. Gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond. More than a store, Shopify grows with you. I've shopped on websites. What I love about Shopify is that it remembers my information when I check out. It's all there, and I just go click buy. You know what I mean?
That's the best. Go to shopify.com/pajama, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial. That's right, guys. You like what we're saying right now? Go check it out for 14 days, absolutely free. Get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/pajama right now. That is shopify.com/pajama, SHOPIFY. Listen, no one knows what you're looking for in a doctor better than you. And there's no one better at giving you the tools to find the perfect doctor than ZocDoc. ZocDoc. The people who created ZocDoc found the major pain points in healthcare, all the things that weren't working, and said enough. And they made booking a great doctor surprisingly pain-free. ZocDoc is a free app that shows you doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them. Read up on local doctors, get verified patient reviews, and see what other real humans had to say about their visit. So when you walk into the doctor's office, you're set up to see someone in your network who gets you. I've heard a lot of people lately who want to go to the doctor and they're like, yeah, I just don't know how to find a good doctor.
It's always been my biggest struggle.
Yeah, and then you know what happens? 2 months later, you talk to them and you go, oh, did you go to the doctor? They go, no, I gotta find a doctor.
Yeah, no, it's turned in. Now I have a cyst I need to drain. It was just a zit.
Oh, terrible, guys. Don't let your zit become a cyst. Go to ZocDoc.com, choose a time slot, and whether you want to see the doctor in person or do a video visit, and just like that, boom, you're booked. Find a doctor that is right for you and book an appointment that works for your schedule. Every month, millions of people use ZocDoc.
So go to ZocDoc.com/pajama and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/pajama, ZocDoc.com/pajama.
Finding a doctor for you made easy. You know what? By the way, like if I didn't like the crust on a sandwich, which I'm indifferent, I'm not like, oh, I love the crust, but to me, it's just part of the thing.
Yeah.
Why not just cut the crust off? PB&J sandwich with the crust cut off.
Our boy Joey Perino says, I fucks with it cut either way.
Yeah, he's
always
fucking
political.
savage, but he's also a savage when it comes to food. Like he doesn't
You think
eat
he would
with his
even
eyes.
cut it?
No, he doesn't eat with his eyes. He eats with his belly and his mouth. You know, you don't have to dress anything up for Joe.
He's just gonna take it any way it comes.
Yeah.
Gene says triangles taste better.
Yeah, they
Triangle, a lot of triangle love here.
for sure.
This was kind of we were surprised by how many people responded to this. So we thank you guys that's on our Instagram, by the way, which we also have some questions to take from our Instagram. Robbie.
Well, listen, I've talked about this exact thing before on this pod, which is there are some things in life where people have an opinion or people think something and you go, I disagree with that, but I fully understand your opinion. Then there's times where I go, I disagree with that, but I know I'm wrong. Like I know I'm in the wrong. Like when everybody was telling me you got to watch Game of Thrones, I said, I tried to watch Game of Thrones. I couldn't do it. I know I'm wrong. I know enough people like it, who I respect, who I go, I just can't get it going. I'm wrong. I'm not into it. I haven't seen it up until COVID. And I knew in that situation, I was wrong. For me, with the triangle cut, like that's the only way. Like I don't think, I think.
Yeah, this is the same thing to me as like which way your toilet paper should go, over or under. It's got to be over.
Yeah.
Unless you have a cat. That's what I've been told. Because in the
what I've
pawing.
What I've realized is very important to me is oval toilet. So when I was in New York,
as opposed to a circle.
Yeah. Oh my
Who has
God.
if you have an oval, I know that you're poor.
Oh, see, I was gonna say I know you cut your sandwiches down the middle. Like if you're shitting,
worse.
if you're shitting on a circular toilet, eating sandwiches cut down the middle, like
No,
you're living in the past. Like when we tell our life stories, yours is they're gonna be like, oh, this person's from the early 1900s.
Let's talk about
and
what
Rob's
happens.
from the future.
You are from the future.
I'm from the future.
What happens with a circle toilet? Why do we like an oval? Because it leaves no room
Yeah.
for our big dongs.
You're such a great interviewer, babe.
Yeah. I just answered the question for you. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just, by the way, it's not even like that the room is so important, but it's like you don't even think about it. You sit down, you're like, you could be reading you could be looking on your phone, which I don't. I focus very much on the movement. But you could be looking down at your phone and you really, if you're on the circular toilet, you really have to navigate how you're sitting. When you're on that oval toilet, it's like the recliner of toilet seats.
Here's something that I think we can agree on. When your penis touches the seat,
I do everything in the world
to keep that from
happening so that
But
it hasn't
sometimes-
happened in 10 years.
10 years you haven't
I
done.
do not. Well, first of all, my toilet's oval. I don't
But you
like
think
to poop.
about it.
I don't like to poop anywhere else. When I was in New York, it took up
Circle?
so much circle everywhere I went was circle. And I didn't realize I'm like, like my brain just couldn't click that. Like, I'm like, why am I having like issues going to the bathroom in New York? Like I'm uncomfortable. I'm like up on my toes. Like, you know, I'm like off my heels pooping. I'm like, what's going on? And then I get back. I sit on my oval toilet.
You ever notice you're on your tippy toes sometimes when you're pooping?
That's
and
what
then
I
you
just
gotta
said.
like relax.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was on my tippy toes every poop for the thing. Like
Your
it was
arches are sore and shit after a poop.
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
like you said, I'm like protecting my penis from the rim of the seat, so like it doesn't touch it because that's like over for me. But first of all, I go to the store, I go to CVS, I get 90% alcohol, I get paper towels, I wash the entire fucking seat where I'm pooping and the lid, just in case my penis happens to touch that lid.
Let's talk about this.
Please.
Because I have a fantasy of what happens when my penis touches that part that's dirty. In my head, this is what goes on. It touches it. It gets bacteria. The bacteria seeps into my skin. And eventually I'll have to amputate my penis because I touched the bottom of that. I know it's irrational.
No, I think that's rational.
But is that what your brain does when your penis...
I don't even let it go there because instead I'm like, I'm going to be so like cautious and alert and on my tippy toes this whole time that I won't even let my brain go there to like what happens. It's enough for me, the threat of it touching the toilet. I just think like, by the way, it's the same way the water came up and hit my butthole when I was pooping in the hotel.
Poseidon's kiss is what somebody told us.
Yeah, Poseidon's kiss. That was one of those things where like I had a vision of just my butthole just becoming like a science experiment, you know? And it was like, well, he stayed at this hotel and that place was known for blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I talked about this in the pod. While I was staying in that hotel, I was like going to bed at midnight or whatever. And all of a sudden I heard like, and I'm like, oh shit, people were fucking in the room next to me. Shared a wall with them and heard it all. And this girl was putting on a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the guy was a great lovemaker?
No, fake.
Why do you say that?
Because, well, first of all, it was only like a minute and a half that I heard that, but that could have just been like the back end of the session. But still, I didn't hear anything from the dude. Like I only heard chick, which was great for me. But if he was great, you would think you would have heard just something, even if he was like, shut the fuck up. Like, you know, you got to throw something.
You always expect, I've also heard couples having, is usually when you're in a hotel and you always expect to hear the man at the finale go, oh.
Is that what you do?
Well, I don't do that, but I do make an audible sound. It's like, oh, fuck yeah. You don't say fuck yeah?
I'm sure I climax, that
you don't say fuck yeah?
I don't have a standard thing, you know? Oh, fuck, man.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck, man.
Shit. You don't do that?
You can make me a sandwich and cut it diagonal.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I go, oh, fuck. Don't move. I got tissues. That's what I say.
Do you remember that first, like...
Don't move. I also tell her this. I go, don't splash around in it.
See, I say, like, don't move. And then I go outside. I make myself something to drink. I go for a little stroll. Yeah, I go to Whole Foods.
And she's like, Robbie?
Yeah. And then I text. I go, you need anything?
Yeah. Well, because there is a part right when you're making that audible sound, like the first 60% of it, this is totally normal. The last 20, 30, 40% of the sound, you're self-conscious that you're making the sound. Does that make sense?
No, for me, it depends on the session. Like there's times where like the session is over and you're like, man, that was fucking crazy. And none of it was like that. And that's when it's good. Like when there was no self-conscious. But then there's times where like the whole entire coming is...
Yeah.
Like you're aware of all of it because maybe it just, it wasn't and I've noticed that when I was younger, like 2-3 times wouldn't matter. Now, like I can have sex a second time in a night, but it's just not good. Like
See, sometimes the second time I can really do some stuff. I can if I was an electric car, I would have more mileage. Do you know what I mean? I can
but that's
go
not
to
always
certain
good.
I can
Chicks
go to
don't
other
always...
stops. Well, one of the first times me and Sarah had sex, afterwards, when she came, she said, "We out here."
Oh yeah.
And then more recently, after I finished, I said, "I rule."
Yikes.
Isn't that fun?
I say I'm in the schmilden.
What? Instead of building? Yeah. You say you're in the
I'm in
schmilden?
the schmilden. Yeah.
Why do you say schmilden?
I just like it.
You've said
No, I'm kidding. You said I rule?
yeah, because
Oh.
there was an inside joke, but out of context it sounds crazy, right?
Are you gonna tell the
Nope.
You're not
I want to
gonna tell
hang
the
out there. I
joke.
want people just to think I say I rule.
Yeah, but then you should have just said no, I just said I rule, but now you said there's an inside joke so people don't just think that.
It's just still funny. It's funny on its own.
Yeah, you should have just said like no, there was no joke. Like I just want to let her know.
I
Like,
look her
just
in
in
the
case
eyes
she
and I
didn't
go,
know.
I rule.
Just in case she didn't know from after the fucking, I had to let her know, hey babe,
The inside joke
I rule.
The inside joke was she offered to give me oral sex and I go, I rule. That was it. And then I did it after sex. I said I rule.
Oh, okay.
She's like, oh, she offered oral, and then I go, yeah, I rule. And then once that was established, once I rule was in the universe, I used it again at post sex.
Yeah.
And I said I rule when I finished. That's the whole inside joke.
Me, you, and Sarah went to dinner on Friday.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Boy.
Oh, it was great fucking food.
How much did we meet? 3 people. Me and you split the tab. How
I don't
much
even
was-
think we should say it.
Let's say it.
It was.
Let's
I
tell 'em.
don't even think we should say it.
My portfolio's never been lower.
I think people hate us already. I don't think they need to hear what we're spending on sushi in LA.
We don't do this all the time. We starved ourselves.
But I hated myself after we paid the bill.
I didn't enjoy it either. But let's be honest with our listeners.
It was like $480.
You told me $490.
$490. Yeah, I wasn't like lying about $10. I just
And
thought
then
that was
with tip it was up to
yeah. Well,
$600.
we're podcasters, so we have to tip big because when we walk in, people know they go, "Oh my god, there's Rob and Cass."
Yeah. Well,
So-
the people, our listeners,
Especially the sushi chefs. They
in
were
2
so happy to
weeks
see
will
it.
understand why we went out.
Yeah, there was a little
It
celebratory
was a celebration.
that you guys will understand in some time. But
We went to a very catch,
yeah,
because we've had Mark.
we had Mark
Birnbaum.
on. Yeah, and it was but fucking food was fantastic. Everything
This
that
is
came out, it
these-
was like this is better than this, and
We went at the perfect time. We went at like 7:30. Catch is one of these very if you've never been,
Sceney.
it's very sceney, right? Like chicks get dressed up to go there. They're not even thinking about the food. They're just going to be seen. They want to go at the bar. They want to meet people. Guys are trying to pick up girls. Everyone's dressed to the nines. We go because the food is incredible.
it's incredible.
It's if it wasn't as good as it is, we probably wouldn't ever go. Besides, you also are very good friends with Mark.
right. And here's the deal, right?
I got a picture to show you from when I was at this place.
While you're, I don't want to sound like when you're friends with the
This is what I saw outside.
nice.
Outside catch. Well, is it nice? Because there's a little,
Oh, I thought those were see-through. Is that a line of sweat?
yeah.
That he's showing a girl in a white skirt, and where her butt crack would be, there's a line of sweat.
It's almost like she took
Were
an
you
hour
laughing?
Uber.
Were you laughing real hard?
Well, I noticed it right away. I was like, Sarah, look. And she's like, well, what is that? I'm like, it's either sweat or Duke.
Really? See, I thought that.
But it's also down here though too.
Okay.
Now, this could be another triangle or down the middle.
Right. Yeah. This
Is-
could be a
what am I-
fashion. Is this a fashion statement?
You guys, what am I looking at? Am I looking at
This is good.
a see-through dress where there's a G-string underneath? Or am I looking at sweat on the crack of a woman who was in an Uber for far too long?
Yeah, because to me initially, I thought it was a girl making a fashion statement. Hey, look at my butt, and through the skirt. But now, if you're saying you were there and it looked more like sweat,
I also got a photo. Maybe I'll give this to Gabby. It's a photo of, they
Oh,
come out,
yeah.
they serve you the sushi. And we're playing this for you guys
sushi?
right now. They give you the sushi and they hit it with a blowtorch right on top. I mean, where else are they doing
and you know
this?
why they do that, right?
to sear the fish.
No, it's not why. Well, I mean, yeah, but the real reason they do it is because then people at other tables go, "What is that?"
Well, it's the sizzling fajitas from Chili's thing, where people hear it and they see it and they go, "Ooh, I want that."
Right. So
And then
you
they
see
charge.
it fire at somebody's table.
How much they
and you
charge
go,
for
what is
that?
I don't know. The roll's probably $28 or something like that.
Could you imagine? Were we talking about how much
crazy.
food costs? Were we
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about we're in a bubble? Los Angeles, we're
Los
in a
Angeles is a bubble. Well, no. Los Angeles is not a bubble because we could easily go to stores that aren't like the stores we go to, which are like, Whole Foods and this. We could go to like fucking Nelson's or like Gelson's, whatever it is out here.
yeah.
Gelson's, and get fucking 20 pieces of chicken for $9. We just don't do that.
No, you don't get that kind of chicken at Gelson's.
Well, I'm exaggerating.
You're talking about Ralph's.
Okay, Ralph's. Ralph's. Sorry.
But even then, I think there's something to like your brother in New York who goes out and gets 2 slices of pizza and a Coke for how much?
No, anybody in New York can go. Like
Right.
there's little spots where you go. Oh, because what I was saying
But that
is,
we don't have that here, unless it's Costco.
No, again, there are these places. They're just not the places we go to. I guarantee you, if I talked to my Uber driver and said, "Hey, bro, I'm looking to get a lunch for $5," he'd be like, "Yeah, here's where you go."
Yeah, I don't know.
We just don't go to these places.
What's a typical amount of money you guys are spending on lunch? You guys wake up, get breakfast, no breakfast, but when it's lunchtime and
Breakfast, no breakfast.
you get breakfast, no breakfast. You go to lunch. Are you spending $20? Are you anticipating to spend more than that? Because I'll tell you, when I buy lunch, it's at least $20. Sometimes up to 40.
If you just get one bowl of something,
I don't just get a
But
bowl.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, I go a little crazy.
Right. That's the thing. You just finished working out. You're going to like for a big meal, but also in LA, we tend to go to these places that like we know. Because here's the deal: you can go to these places that are like hit or miss that you could save some money on.
I pay for the hit.
I pay for the hit.
Pay for the hit.
I only eat once a day. You think I'm looking for a miss?
This guy does not miss.
I can't afford to go somewhere and have a fucking bad meal. So instead of spending $5 like you, I'm spending at least $20.
No. You guys want to know, there's this place I really like, and it pains me every time I order, but it's so good because they have the best crab cake I've ever had. But it's a $45 crab cake.
Jesus Christ.
It's
How
in
big
Venice.
is it?
It's in Venice. It's a good size. It's like this.
Is
And
it
it's
enough
thick.
where you're full? No.
No.
Jesus Christ.
I order it alongside like a salad or a pasta.
Right. What? But you just had Zanku chicken when I showed up.
Yeah,
How much is Zanku chicken?
I ordered 2 Zankus.
How much is
that
Zanku?
That was I think they're like $8 a wrap. So I got 2. But then you pay. But the thing is with Postmates, you're doubling what you're spending usually. And
Yeah.
fees. I had to wait an hour and a half. We got to do something about it. You know, one of the best gifts I ever got was all that chicken breast you got me.
Thank you. It was very thoughtful.
Has anyone ever said that to you? Thank
yeah.
you for the chicken breast.
I have, because here's the deal, right? I'm not a guy who gives great gifts on like Christmas or somebody's birthday or this. But there are times where I just in the middle of the year and I go, that's for that person. Like I got to get that for that person. So with you, I just happened to think like, oh, that's a great gift for Cass.
Yeah.
And then I waited until your birthday to send you some chicken.
Let's talk about Christmas gifts right after I go to the bathroom.
Okay.
We'll be right back after this.
You want to get that kink out of my shoulder, babe? Oh, who do you got to sleep with around here to get a Theragun, babe?
You hear that quiet percussive technology?
I know who my best friend had to sleep with to get us some Theraguns. But before we even got this sponsor, we were getting Theraguns. But now that they're a sponsor, we thought we couldn't love them anymore.
What is a Theragun, Rob? Well, I'll tell you.
Oh.
Why don't you shut up and let me tell you.
Okay.
Theragun is a handheld percussive device that releases your deepest muscle tension using a scientifically calibrated combo of depth, speed, and power. And it's as quiet as an electric toothbrush.
Yeah, I used to go through phases of using the Theragun where it was like, oh, I got to do it for 45 minutes. I got to do it for... And then I started to realize, as I did it more, you could do that thing for 5 minutes.
That's right. The Gen 4 Theragun doesn't just feel good, it gets to the source of the pain by releasing tension using Theragun's signature percussive therapy, which goes 60% deeper than vibration alone. So whether you want to treat your muscle tension from working out or an injury or just the stresses of everyday life, there's no substitute for the Theragun Gen 4. Try Theragun for 30 days starting at only $199. Go to therabody.com/pajama right now and get your Gen 4 Theragun today. That's therabody.com/pajama, therabody.com/pajama.
It's a nice hoodie you got there, babe. The Perry Caravello hoodie. That's what you got. That was my Christmas gift from my old cast.
We were just talking about Christmas gifts. You saw the chicken. You got me a nice, by the way, you got me bamboo shorts. Remember, we talked about bamboo sleep shorts on this pod. The only pair I have, which now the elastic is worn out, you can kind of see the white band underneath. You've just replaced them.
Yes.
One of the most thoughtful things. And I like to think I'm the only guy that's buying you underwear.
Yeah, I don't think any other. I don't even think my dad's ever bought me underwear.
No, I'm your dad now. But I also bought you a Perry Caravello Live hoodie. And I got one as well. And we took a photo in them and we sent it in to Perry. Perry, as you guys know, is the fourth host of Pajama Pants. And they're fantastic quality. This is a LA hoodie. It means it's thin.
He gets very angry because they're from Bangladesh.
Well, look, Perry is, he's a little upset that they're not American made.
Some people said he's even racist.
Well, I mean, he did have a little bit of, there was a little, like a touch of white pride in the fact that he doesn't.
Is that a bad thing?
No, not at all. To be proud to be white?
I don't know. These days, it seems like it might be a problem.
No, man.
You're proud to be white, right?
Not for me.
Not for me. You love being white, right?
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just no issues.
No.
You know, the only issues I have are all these SJWs that are just trying to water down everything. They're trying to turn this country into something that it's not, you know?
You're just trying to live your life.
I'm just trying to live my life.
Be white.
As a white male.
Yeah, you're just trying to white it up.
White, straight, cis white male.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robbie. Anyways, another straight cis white male who's never had a moment of homosexuality in his life, except for
the one time
in 1992
when he let somebody blow him
to get a part on the show. And
Shout
and that
out.
man, Perry Caravello.
Live.
And Perry Caravello Live. And
guys, here's the best part of when people go, why do you guys love Perry? Perry,
I don't understand that question.
Perry basically
He's my favorite Twitch streamer.
was like just going on and on about how much he loved us and how grateful he was. He was crying when we were talking to him.
He cried 4 times.
We took the photo of me and Kasim in the hoodies and we sent it. We put it on Instagram and his producer, Tom, showed it to him and he had no idea who we were.
It took him a second.
It took him a lot longer than a second. He was
Took him a
basically
second.
done. And then Tom reminded him again, like,
Yeah.
hey, remember it was Rob's Promise and Kasim and they did Pajama Pants this? And he was like, huh? Like he's like, yeah, I don't know. Like he didn't really like.
He can be very Hollywood sometimes.
Yeah. And we, speaking of someone else who I think is white, we have Charlotte wrote us an email.
You want to read this one? Or should
Not
I?
really.
Okay,
I
read
don't
it.
like reading.
Here's the thing: when people tune in, we get a lot of emails, but unfortunately, neither of us are good readers. Okay, this one's from
You're
Charlotte.
a better reader than I am.
Hi there, Pajama fam. I really hate the term California sober, by the way, and we're referring to what we refer to Rob's sobriety from the last pod. Anyway, I know I've mentioned it's where you smoke weed, but you don't do anything else. Anyway, I've mentioned before that I've been clean from meth.
And also, I don't know if I said this. I don't know how I feel about if you would say somebody's sober if they're like, I fucking smoke weed all day, every day. Like, I think that might be something, you know, where you're like, or like, I can't do this without smoking weed, or like, I can't, because, you know, I haven't smoked weed, I don't know, 4 months or something, but not because I'm trying to, it just happens to be like, I haven't smoked.
Sure.
And does that mean I've been sober for 4 months? Like, I nothing has changed in my life. When I do smoke weed, I take 1 or 2, like you always say, like, oh, you didn't smoke for months, you must have gotten so high. And I'm always like, no, like, I never get so high. Like, I take 1 hit, and I kind of feel the way I do, like, right after I come, right after you go, oh, fuck yeah, man.
fuck, I rule.
Fuck, I rule, man. Like right after how you feel, where you're just like, ugh, like a big, like just a sack of potatoes.
That's
you
it,
know?
huh?
Yeah, I just feel like a sack of potatoes. And also, like, I would do it a lot when, like, if I hurt myself in the gym, or if I ever had, like, my neck hurts, or like this, or you've seen me, like, throw out my rib. Remember when you've seen it? It's fucking
You are
vicious.
you can't move.
It's horrible.
You're out for like weeks.
Here's the thing: the person can put it right back. Here, if you could catch it right in the beginning. So there's a thing that's called like your rib tip popping out, and it happens to me like every 2 years. Like twice a year, depending on the year. Sometimes it doesn't happen at all. And if you get it fixed right away, somehow, if you're like, right about to go to a chiropractor, I wanted to say podiatrist. That's a foot doctor, I think. If you go right to a chiropractor and he can fix it, but I usually go like, I don't know if I did pop it in or pop it out or what really happened. And then the next day it hurts, and then the next night you can't sleep, and that third day you just become fucking delirious because you're on no sleep. Every time you breathe or move, it hurts. It's not fun, but it's actually not a painful thing until that third day. So you've seen me on that third day. It's crazy how much it happens on like a Thursday, and then all of a sudden you're like, Saturday is terrible, and Sunday you just have to wait it out. Monday you go get it fixed. But by the way, that's a time where I'm like, I'm fucking smoking weed, and it just saves me. It saves a lot of the pain.
Yeah, pain relief.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay, so Charlotte says, anyway, I know I've mentioned before that I've been clean from meth for 19 years in May, but I do still partake of the devil's lettuce, and I have found a couple of things to be true in my years on and off the wagon. While I've never touched meth again, I have struggled with alcohol and did have a minor run with Xanax like 6 years ago. For so many years, I had this all or nothing mentality with my sobriety and fighting those demons. Demons with a D at the end, like a DMONDS. Demons. That's a PCL reference. Shout out PCL. While trying to stay completely sober was damn near impossible. The way I viewed my sobriety needed to change because the 12-step program never worked for me long term. So I really just maintained as a pothead for years, went through some super, super heavy shit last year and noticed some risky coping behaviors forming in some new ways, sort of like how Rob noticed it with video games. Except mine weren't so innocent, LOL. The miracle of miracles is that I was able to recognize the behavior and adjust myself before I got too out of hand.
Hell yeah, dude.
So now I'm okay with smoking the pot and watching me some PJ Pants or PCL. Watching Perry Meltdown is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life, no lie. I'm a diehard Pervy Caramello fan now because of my favorite podcast. Anyways, I'm literally 4:58 into this podcast, and I had to pause to give you guys my thoughts. Rob, I haven't gotten to your COVID story yet, but I hope you're okay. You'll be better taken care of. You all better be taking care of yous and yours. Charnuts out.
That's what Jamie's doing right now. She's taking care of hers and her own. She's taking care of those sick little children.
Thanks, Charnuts. I'm glad it's all working for you. Everyone's different, you know?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. And by the way, isn't that the thing with fucking everything? Like, you know what I mean? It's like everybody's there. There's no one fucking fix-all for shit, you know? Cure-all. Or people always want to be like, no, this is what you had to. It's like, no, you don't. Like, there's people who fucking work the program for 10 years, and one day they slip off. I've actually heard that from people who I know who are in the program that there's big things around like those big numbers. Like when people are like, oh, my 10 years coming up. Like it just...
Well, here's, what's funny about that is that when this pod airs, I will have 5 years officially.
So you're saying you want to go grab like a drink or something?
No, but okay. So I think what you're saying is people make big deals about it, but they shouldn't.
No. I've just heard that like there have been many occasions where people are coming up on a big number and then they slip. Like it's like,
oh, I see what you're saying.
Probably like some self-destructive.
Well, look, if you got sober in a program and then you're not maintaining your program, and you're dry, it's only probably a matter of time before you're back.
Right, but I'm talking about people who are maintaining
without a program.
No, who are maintaining a program, who are like in a program.
Yeah,
and then they just like that. I don't know if it's the pressure or that like same reason they were an addict is like that self-destructive thing. But like when they're coming up on like their 10-year thing. That's when it happens.
Oh, yeah.
It's just something I heard from somebody who's in programs, but I wouldn't know. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. It's one of those things where like
that might have been something Dr. Drew said.
Maybe
too. I'm trying to think of where I heard that.
Dr. Drew. Yeah.
Dr. Drew.
It's my brother is usually nice and he gets me a cake, you know, but even then I feel kind of weird celebrating it because it's just like what the best part is just another day. That day comes and goes every year and it's just another day. And it's like, oh, I made it a year and I barely thought about it, you know, and I still do the things I got to do to make sure I'm sober. But then, yeah, a few years stack up and then like now I'm coming up on 5 and it seems crazy to me because when I first got sober, I would have never thought 5 years. Like I would look at people who had 3 years and I was like, wow, you haven't had a drink in 3 years? It's crazy to me.
Yeah, well, so my birthday is 9 years, and which I don't think is anything. But then when I hear 10 years, I'm like, wow, I can't believe it was 10 years since I did like hard drugs, you know, like any Molly, cocaine, been drunk, this, you know. There were other things after that because I was still addicted to like Xanax, and it took me years to get off of them, and then obviously weed and stuff. But like when I think about the things that I've really been addicted to in my life, I can't recall like the feeling of that. Like I guess the video game was like the closest thing, but it's not even that, because like video games don't have the power for me to like change who I am. Like where like, you know, taking fucking 15 Percocets a day, like I was just a different person, not only because I was high, but also like when people would ask me to do something, the first thought wasn't like, do I want to do something with this person? It was, does this interfere with me taking 15 Percocets tomorrow?
Right.
So it just makes you like when somebody asks you a question, you don't even answer as you answer as an addict, or at least, you know, I did. But again, I'm like,
yeah. When you were here playing video games and we're playing Mario Kart and golf and all that stuff.
oh, that was fun. That was just like, you know,
don't go home and you don't go like, oh, I gotta get my hands on that.
Zero. No, because I would, you know.
But when you were in New York and you were playing
in New York, it was different
64,
because it was 12 degrees outside. And also, like, they just happened to have like 4 games I loved, and it was right outside in my and you know, when we were playing Mario Golf, it was like fun because I'm playing with you and we're like laughing and shit. But I wasn't like, oh man, this game is so addicting. Wherever we're like, you know, even just running through Mario Kart like twice, like I was so and also Mario Kart's one of those games where like you're not blinking. Like I was like 3 feet away from the TV, like trying not to blink for hours. Mm-hmm. It was a little intense.
Yeah. I'm can't wait for us to get on the VR right after this pod.
And then there's also that thing of like the thing that's different about like video games is there's no you don't have to depend on anybody else. You don't have to worry, am I going to run out of this? How do I get it? Because that's a big part of
it's
like
you versus you. How long can you stay up?
Yeah, like when I was taking pills and whatever, like it would always come down to like, you know, however many days it took, but like eventually they'd run out, and you try and call days ahead. So you're like, hey, can you arrange this and this? But there's times where like that chaos of getting, like making sure you have the thing that you need, and sometimes how the crazy things you have to go through to get it, because you end up spending time with shady people and going to places you don't want to. It's like, well, hey, the only place I know where to get them right now is 2 hours into Jersey, but you have to this. And I'm like, all right, I'll go get my mom's car. And then next thing you know, I'm 2 hours in Jersey. I have no idea where I am because I'm like, I fucking need Percocets. And for some reason, no one has them right now. Like, there's just, you know, where like, you know, shit like weed is always, it's almost always, especially now in California, it's super fucking easy. But like, you know.
Yeah.
But I guess the only thing that feels a little bit like that sometimes with the video game thing is like when you're out doing something and you're like, I just want to finish this so I could go play my video game. You know?
Yeah. You know what's funny is like really what I've had that feeling with video games when I'm like, but I also have it like when I'm reading a really good comic book, or like when I smoked cigarettes. Like I really just want to get through this dinner so I can go smoke a cig.
Yeah.
You know? But look at us. We're all in different. We do sobriety in different ways, and I think we show people that there's no one way to do it. I have my way. I cut out everything. I maintain a program because I need to. Otherwise, there's no way I could just smoke weed once every 4 months like you know?
Yeah, and it's interesting that like you see the way you associate smoking weed with like, well, then I would drink. It's like, for me, that's how I associate drinking,
Yeah.
you know, where it's like, if somebody was like, oh, why don't, like, people always say to me, like, why don't you just have a couple beers? Or like, why don't you have a couple? I'm like, because then I know one night, I still have nightmares about it all the time. That like one night, it'll just lead to something. And somebody says, hey, why don't you just do this? Where like, for some reason, weed doesn't do that for me. Like, weed doesn't change my decision-making process.
Yeah. Also, those people that go, why don't you just have a couple beers? I've had those people, you know, just like you smoke a little bit. Why don't you just have a couple beers? Like, what harm could happen?
I just think they don't understand.
They
addiction.
don't understand it.
I don't think they're trying to be malicious. Some of them are. But.
Well, but they are thinking with their brain, right?
Right.
And they're assuming because it's not an issue for them that it's not going to. It's if you have somebody who's like in your life, and you're not an addict, but you have somebody in your life that's like, hey man, I'm just trying to like, I recognize I have a problem, and like I'm trying to do this for a while to see what happens. And in your head, you're just like, well, you did Sober October. Like, why don't you just have a couple more? Just like, don't be that person, because you're not in any way helping. You're applying how your body reacts to a substance, and you're thinking that somebody else is going to react the same way. And everyone's body chemistry is totally different. When I take a hit of weed, I don't know if you first experience with weed was like, when I took my first hit of weed, it was like, oh shit. As soon as I took it, I knew it was going to be an issue. I knew that I had to have this again. Like, it was a feeling of like, oh, where was this my whole life? Same thing when I got drunk for the first time. Oh, where has this been? This is what everyone must feel like normally all the time. I felt like a square peg in a round hole my whole life, but now I feel great.
So how would you describe that feeling? Like the first time you smoked, like what about it?
It was the
like,
answer. It was like it was everything I was looking for.
You just said confidence, or you were comfortable?
What
was it?
Comfort in your own skin. Like unabashed, like you're just cool with everything. There's no insecurity. Nothing bothers you.
Wow, that's interesting, because alcohol did that for me, but weed definitely does not do that for me. Weed makes me more uncomfortable in a lot of ways.
Oh no, weed
where I have to be alert.
Right,
like
yeah.
when if I smoke weed like alone in my apartment or this, but like if I would be around people and smoking weed, I was way more conscious of what my actions and like my movements, and I would think about it, where normally like I wouldn't think about, like if I was just sitting around with my friends bullshitting, or even like mainly with strangers or people I didn't know very well. Like if you're sitting around bullshitting, I didn't really care. Like I felt comfortable. And then when I'd smoke weed, I would be more like, I'm repeating myself, but aware and like conscious of like, oh wait, am I like being this way?
They were slightly different where alcohol made me more social, you know, and it made me like want to get into a conversation with somebody, whereas weed, I was very chill, cool, relaxed, didn't have a worry, but like I was more introspective. And I want to watch like a movie or listen to like music. I remember when I first smoked weed, the first day, I just had a smile on my face for like 3 hours. And I would just like, oh, I got to listen to Stairway to Heaven. I got to see what that sounds like. You know, when you like, when you were first exposed to 3D, you know, and then like 3D came, like I remember buying a 3D. I'm like, I got to get all my movies on 3D. Even though I've already seen this, I want to watch it in 3D. That's exactly what it was like when I started smoking weed. Everything was like, oh, this is going to be way better. It's like Jon Stewart in Half Baked. It's like, have you ever
seen the back of a $20 bill
on weed? And it's so true, because everything was more colorful. Everything sounded better. I was like picking up beats.
Wow, I got none of this.
I was like me and my friends were walking down the street, and like our feet, when they were hitting the pavement, like made a song in my head. And it was like, I was like, everything was like in a pattern or in a beat, and like everything was better. Food tasted better. And it was like, oh man, this is not something I'm gonna be able to like just put down. And after that first time, and I got sober, like, or I sobered up, I was like, oh, when's the next time I'm doing this? Let me start planning. All right,
that's
maybe
how I
I
felt
can go
about
get
tripping.
weed. Yeah. Well, but that's the thing. Everybody's system reacts differently, but it's all kind of doing the same thing in our heads.
Yeah. See, like that
was meth for Charlotte.
Yeah, I never smoked weed and was like, oh man, I'm in a different world. Like, I'm hearing this and the sounds are better and the lights are like, I never saw anything different.
So what happens when you smoke weed? Do you just like relax?
Yeah, I feel that like right when you bust a nut, like how you're just like you're chill, but also you're like aware of things, and you're, I don't know, like I'm more just self-aware of like everything that's going on around. And like, you know, there's times where I'm like, should I be sitting with my foot up like that? Like, you know, where I'm just like sober or drinking, I would never think about some shit like that. It would be like, what do you mean? That's how I'm fucking that's how I'm sitting. And like, you know, there's be times where like I would smoke weed, and it wasn't like, oh man, you're fucking super paranoid or like whatever. But there would just be times where I'd be like, man, I haven't said anything in a while. Like, should I say something? Where like with alcohol, there was never, you never second guess an action. Like, you know,
every move is the right move.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, oh, this is, you know,
I'm gonna go over that chick. I'm gonna dip her, and I'm gonna kiss her on the lips, and I'm gonna take her by the hand, and we're gonna get into a car and go like that.
Yeah,
you
like
do that.
Where like on weed, but like with weed, it would be like, oh man, like I don't want, like, what if I walked over there and I looked stupid, or like I wouldn't want to do this. So that's how weed was for me. But what you described to me is thinking about like mushrooms and Molly and this, where like when I did it, it was like opening my eyes to this new world that alcohol and weed never did for me. Where like tripping was like, holy shit. Like it was almost like, you know, like you're on a different planet. Like everything, like, you know, you move your hand and there's like whoosh, whoosh, and like you're seeing, and you're like every single second of this life is unbelievably fascinating and cool and interesting. But like, there's no, I was never tripping and was like, hey, I'm bored, because you could just like stare off into space and it's like, whoa, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting real druggy, huh?
People are probably just high from listening to this.
Yeah, or some people are lighting up as we speak, for sure. There are people who are like, man, I need to fucking smoke.
All right, before we wrap this up, let me see if there's anything good from Instagram. Okay, Chesty Hair says, now that mom's gone, stinky lips or loose puss, which is a deal breaker for you?
Definitely stinky. Yeah. But I don't think it's the lips that stink.
No. This person has a fundamental ignorance when it comes to what creates a stinky puss.
Yeah.
That's what's inside.
Oh, wow.
It's what's inside the puss.
Yeah, but it's inside what matters. You know? Thanks.
Rob. It's from DK and Rob. Can you comment on crypto right now? Just real fast. I know we touched on it a little bit.
Listen, it's not a good day. What are you gonna every time
we buying the dip?
Every time, I'm definitely. We are not a financial.
We're not financial advisors, but go ahead and buy that dip. Tell them it was we
do not give financial advice. But like, you know what I never realized until like you tell 30 people to buy crypto. Like, do you think every time the fucking like Apple stock was down like 10%, people were like, whoa, how are your iPhones now? Like, yeah, relax. How's crypto?
You gotta be in for the long term, guys.
Yeah, I'm not a crypto day trader. Like, I got crypto in 2016. How's crypto? It's fucking great.
Okay. Everything's pretty good.
Check my portfolio.
The Killer Mom says, does Cash smoke bud with Shank or Rob? Well, I think we kind of answered that. I don't smoke, but have you ever smoked with Shank?
No. I'm not really like hey, let's sit around and smoke weed together kind of guy. You know, I'm more like if I do smoke, like it's at night alone. With Joe Perino, I like to fucking chill and smoke. Some people like to. If I'm on the beach, that's a real nice spot.
What if we're in the metaverse?
Like smoke. What is with you in this metaverse?
Let's go, man.
No,
we can go anywhere. This is from Adrian. Says, does Rob have a girlfriend, or is he fair game?
I am. Let's check her profile. But also, no, I do not have a girlfriend right now. Things are not good in the dating world for me. They're just not. I had to get off the apps for a little bit because of my video game obsession, which only lasted for like 3 or 4 days. But it you know, the apps don't help. That instant like stimulation. Like any time I want to pick up my phone, I could just look and like. Stimulation. Even if you don't like go on dates, it's just like, I like you, you like me. I don't know. What are you doing? This person. Like,
that's a drug in its own. It's a whole other addiction, buddy.
Big time. And I felt it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just shutting this down for a little bit.
Ethan says, it's more of a comment. It isn't a boys cast without Perry, which is true. We're missing our boy Perry Caravello.
It's you know what, like, I guess it's good when you do things that get such hot and cold reactions, you know?
It's been all hot to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of cold.
Mike Shelbo says top movies of 2021. Do you have anything that stick out to you? I have 2.
No, I'm not a movie guy. I'm a TV show guy.
Your TV. Well, you can get your top. Well, you already said Station 11's it's
11's
our top show.
Station 11's real good.
Pound it.
Station 11, Autism on the Love on the Spectrum.
Yeah.
Fucking incredible.
Autism Island.
I was gonna say Autism on the Spectrum. And then I don't know.
Succession was okay.
Succession was good.
It was all right.
The first season of Succession, if you haven't seen it, it's fucking gangbusters.
Station 11 best show.
Really good.
Two movies.
Oh, you're gonna say one that I didn't like. I already know. Dune.
No, I wasn't gonna say Dune, but
But now
I
you
love
are?
Dune. That's 3 movies. 3 movies. Dune, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Licorice Pizza. It was probably my favorite
I want to
movie
see
of
that,
last
but
year.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Dude, it hit me, dude.
I can't believe.
I don't want to spoil it for you, but I'm just telling you that if there's a young Robert in there that liked the Spider-Man movies as a
No.
kid,
There isn't.
he's in there. Little
No,
boy Robbie.
I don't like Spider-Man
he's in
movies.
there. I'm gonna
It's
find
the
him.
same thing. Like, I can't believe people fall for that.
Fall for what?
Like, hey, look,
the
it's
best superhero of all time.
There's someone else in this costume now. Watch this movie all over again.
That's what the great part of this new movie is. You don't go fall for any of it. There's no falling for it. I love that little sound you make. Licorice Pizza, fantastic. Paul Thomas Anderson movie. It stars Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
Philip?
Philip. It stars Philip Seymour Hoffman.
man.
And then the girl, there's a the
My friends
group
are
called
so
Haim.
diverse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Philip?
It's
Philip.
in America.
Yeah.
It's Philip.
It's Philip.
I'm sorry, dude. I had a moment of like
Oh.
pure third world, like not from un-American.
Philip.
I like it. The cinema with the Philip. The girl from Haim, Alana Haim, it was fantastic. It's so crazy seeing Philip Seymour Hoffman's son on screen. He's a fantastic actor. It's his first role, I think, first major film, and he was so good in it. They were both so good in it. It kind of, a lot of people were like, well, there wasn't really a story. Well, it's like a coming of age, one of these.
You know what I've learned about movies for me? And this, guys, you know what? Let's end the pod with a little Rob's Corner.
Yeah, get in. Let's do it.
Should we lean in a little? Let's get in.
Let's talk about it.
What I learned about me recently is it's not about the plot of the film. Because it's a lot like life. It's about the people.
Whoa.
That's right. So when you're maybe on dating apps and you're going on, these girls go, I want to do this. No, they're using the plane icon and it's taken off and it's landing and there's palm trees and coconuts and I'm a traveler. There's nothing I like to do more than traveling. They need plot.
They need more plot in their life.
Yeah, I'm character driven. I don't care what's going on. Some people say, oh, the plot wasn't this. Joe Perino told me, I think it was Casino, one of the greatest movies of all time. No plot. There's no plot to Casino. There's a bunch of guys out in the desert gambling, killing each other, hitting each other with phones.
Well, it's a story about Sam Rothstein. And it's about his life.
But there's no plot. And Scorsese said that. You want to argue with Scorsese? Go ahead, because I tried to say what you said.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna argue with you, which is arguing with Scorsese.
No. I was on your side.
No, I know.
I'm just
but now
talking about,
you've changed your position because now you know what Scorsese said.
Well, Perino told me there's no plot. Scorsese said. I said, well, I'm going to tell Scorsese what your movie is about. What your movie's consistent.
Sam Rothstein's life is the plot. His coming into power in a mob-filled Las Vegas and trying to get married, have a girlfriend, become successful at the hotel, run the hotel.
He said you got to take this up with Perino. He said there's no plot.
Okay, I don't want Joe on. I don't want to be on his bad side.
I don't think it was Goodfellas.
Anyways, back to Rob's Corner. Yeah,
but by the way, okay, whatever.
You're character driven.
My point is, I don't care what's going on in the movie. If the characters are interesting and the relationships are good, that's why I have some of the best times I have with my boy Kasim here. You know what we do? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Not a goddamn thing.
We never do anything.
We'll go to another city, rent an Airbnb, sit in the house, do nothing.
Yeah, because the plot doesn't matter. It's the people.
It's a character story.
Yeah, it's the characters.
How do these characters interact with this situation?
And their relationship.
What are their circumstances?
Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna leave you with this week. But also,
Wonderfully done.
we just got an email while we were sitting here. Is that what the people call kismet?
Yeah. You want to read it?
Yeah, you want to read it?
Okay, this is going to be our last.
Oh no, if this is another sober thing, maybe we should just skip it, or we'll do it and we'll tell Gabby to cut it out if anything. But it's just I see sober and we just talked about that.
No, it is. It's a whole thing. It's a DUI. We'll do it for the next one.
All right. Well, I hope this wasn't time sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
I hope he's not.
Hopefully you didn't use your one email on us.
I hope he's not about to drive drunk now. And we said we'll see.
Hey
you
guys,
next week.
waiting for your response. I'm on the ledge right now.
It's like, you dare me to drive? Like he's
Dare me to drive.
There's a little stand for you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching a Jamie-less boys cast.
Yeah, we tried. The beginning was a little rocky, but we
They don't have to know how rocky it was.
No. We said it. Even when we came back to the goods, we were like, "Hey, the beginning was
We're just finding our footing. This is our second year of this. We just we're getting good. We're starting to hit our stride.
Yeah. All right. I could accept that.
We're on Instagram. We have Reddit. We have a Twitter. Yeah. Rob's off the grid. Don't try and find him. Support us. We're also on TikTok now. If we're not on YouTube where you're watching us right now, we're probably on TikTok, going viral. You could find us getting spread amongst your friends, getting shared. Hopefully we'll be back with Jamie to corral these two wild stallions. She puts up one of those things you put on a horse. A saddle?
Yeah.
Yeah, she breaks us and she puts saddles on us and she rides us into the sunset.
She's doing that to those two kids right now with COVID. She doesn't care.
Oof.
God, she's wearing a mask in her own crib. Guys, what's going on?
It's no way to live.
I'm just feeling a little...
This is what Fauci wanted.
I'm feeling a little woozy.
I wish I didn't get vaccinated. I wish I could unvaccinate myself.
Oh, I got a guy.
I wish I could take the booster out of my body.
I got a guy.
Can he suck it out?
Yeah, he'll get it
Can
out.
you suck it out of my dick?
No, it doesn't come out of your dick.
I don't want it then.
Okay.
It's got to be an enjoyable experience. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in.